Have you ever thought that the quietest person in the room might have the most incredible story to tell? Well, what if I told you that a seemingly ordinary old man at a shooting range held a secret so extraordinary it left a young Navy SEAL recruit completely stunned? All because of a tattoo? Stick around because this story takes a surprising turn you won't see coming. It was a crisp Saturday morning at the local shooting range. The sun was just rising, casting a golden glow over the rows of targets, and the faint scent of gunpowder hung in the air. Among the usual crowd of enthusiasts, there was one man who stood out. Not because he was loud or flashy, but because he was the quietest person there. He was an old man, probably in his late 70s or early 80s, with a weathered face that told a story of its own. His hands were steady as he carefully loaded his rifle, his eyes calm and focused. He didn't say much, just nodded politely when someone greeted him and went about his business, shooting with remarkable precision. Nearby, a young man named Jake was practicing. Jake was a Navy SEAL recruit, fresh out of boot camp, eager and full of energy. He was there to sharpen his marksmanship skills, but what caught his attention wasn't just the old man's skill, it was something else. As Jake was packing up, he noticed the old man rolling up his sleeve to wipe his brow. That's when Jake saw it. A tattoo on the man's forearm. It wasn't just any tattoo. It was a faded but unmistakable emblem of the Navy SEAL trident, the symbol of one of the most elite military units in the world. Jake's curiosity got the better of him. He approached the old man and asked, "Excuse me, sir, but is that a Navy SEAL tattoo?" The old man looked up, a faint smile crossing his lips. "Yes, it is," he said quietly. "I was once part of the team." Jake was stunned. Here was this quiet, unassuming man who had just been casually shooting at the range, and yet he had been a Navy SEAL, a legend in his own right. Jake asked if he could hear his story, and the old man nodded. "My name's Frank," the old man began. "I joined the Navy SEALs back in the late 1960s. It was a different time then, and the missions were dangerous, sometimes bordering on impossible, but we did what we had to do." Frank's voice was steady, but there was a hint of something deeper: pride, regret, and a lifetime of memories. He told Jake about his early days, the grueling training that pushed him to the edge, and the bond he formed with his teammates. Then Frank shared the story that had defined his life. It was a covert mission during the Vietnam War. His team was sent deep behind enemy lines to rescue a group of downed pilots trapped in hostile territory. The mission was supposed to be quick, Frank said, but things went sideways almost immediately. We were ambushed, and I was separated from my team. For hours, Frank navigated the dense jungle alone, evading enemy patrols and fighting to survive. The tattoo on his arm? It was inked after that mission, a symbol of the brotherhood and sacrifice he carried with him every day. Here's where the story takes a twist. As Frank was telling Jake about the mission, he suddenly paused and looked at his watch. "You know," he said, "there's something I never told anyone about that day, something I've kept locked away for decades." Jake leaned in, captivated. Frank continued, "During that mission, I found something that wasn't just about survival or rescue. It was a secret that could have changed the course of the war." Jake's eyes widened. "What was it?" he asked eagerly. Frank smiled mysteriously. "That, my friend, is a story for another time. But if you want, I can tell you the rest, the part about what I found and why it still haunts me." Now, before I dive into that next part, I want you to think about this. How often do we judge people by their appearance? How many incredible stories are hidden behind quiet faces, waiting to be discovered? If you're as curious as Jake was, hit that like button and subscribe, because in the next video, I'll reveal the secret Frank found in the jungle, a secret that changed everything. But for now, Frank shared some wisdom with Jake. Being a SEAL isn't just about fighting or surviving, it's about honor, loyalty, and carrying the weight of your past with dignity. Jake nodded, feeling inspired. He realized that the old man wasn't just a relic of the past. He was a living testament to courage and resilience. As the sun climbed higher, Frank packed up his gear and prepared to leave. Jake thanked him for sharing his story, promising to come back for the next chapter. And as Frank walked away, Jake looked down at the tattoo again, thinking about the untold stories behind it. The quiet old man at the shooting range was anything but ordinary, and his story was far from over. If you want to hear the full story about the secret Frank found during that mission, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next. And remember, everyone has a story worth telling. Sometimes, all it takes is a little curiosity to uncover something truly extraordinary. Thanks for watching my video.